Philippine ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez, says the U.S. and Japan are expected to pour in at least $100 billion into the Philippines in the next 5 to 10 years.
The U.S. and Japan just announced they're about to drop $100 billion into the Philippines. Yeah, that's a 1 with 11 zeros. Enough to buy every jeepney in Metro Manila, turn them electric, and still have change to build a nuclear power plant that glows brighter than Makati at Christmas. But let's get one thing straight. This isn't charity. This is strategy. High stakes, Indo-Pacific, chessboard-level strategy. When Washington and Tokyo pull out their wallets at the same time, you know they're not just shopping for souvenirs. They're buying influence, access, and long-term leverage. So, what's the deal? This $100 billion tag team is targeting energy, semiconductors, and infrastructure. It's like an Avengers-level economic crossover. America brings the tech, Japan brings the trains, and the Philippines brings the geography, right in the middle of everything that matters. Whoever builds the Philippines next decade basically gets a front-row seat to Asia's next economic boom. Now, the Philippines has seen plenty of foreign investors come and go. But this one hits different. Because Japan isn't here to talk. It's here to build. Forget diplomatic speeches. Tokyo shows love through concrete and punctual trains. The Metro Manila subway. Japanese-funded. The North-South Commuter Railway. Japan again. Even some of those earthquake-proof bridges connecting Luzon's traffic nightmares. Yep, made in Tokyo. One of those rail projects alone costs over $25 billion, and Japan's footing more than 80% of the bill. That's not aid, that's ownership of the narrative. You build the roads, you decide where the traffic and the trade goes. And Japan knows that better than anyone. But while Japan's busy digging underground, guess who's flying in from the Pacific with nuclear blueprints and microchips? Uncle Sam. And this time, he's not just bringing slogans about democracy and shared values. He's bringing tech muscle and energy independence. Seattle-based ultra-safe nuclear corporation is already talking about building small modular nuclear reactors in the Philippines. Compact, efficient, and just intimidating enough to make China squint across the South China Sea. Meanwhile, US investors are lining up for the Philippines' semiconductor and IT BPO industries, two sectors growing faster than a Manila traffic jam during rush hour. The semiconductor industry alone makes up over 10% of the country's GDP. For Washington, that's a gold mine. And more importantly, a strategic exit route from Chinese supply chains. This isn't just economic diversification, it's a power shift, one silicon wafer at a time. And speaking of power, literally, the Philippines has a ticking clock on its hands. The Malampaya gas field, the country's main natural gas source, is set to run dry by 2027. Right now, that single field fuels about 40% of Metro Manila's electricity. When it runs out, it's not just lights out. It's jobs out, growth out, and stability out. That's why this investment wave isn't just about profit. It's survival economics. The US and Japan see the upcoming energy gap as a perfect moment to step in, offering money, technology, and yes, a little geopolitical insurance. There's already talk of joint oil and gas exploration in the West Philippine Sea, a polite way of saying, we're drilling here, and we dare you to stop us. Imagine Filipino and American engineers working side by side, while Chinese patrol ships pretend they're just sightseeing. That's not just an oil project, that's a message. Energy isn't just fuel anymore. It's foreign policy in liquid form. And here's where things get even more interesting. For decades, the Philippines has been labeled as the potential economy of Asia, Basically, the kid everyone said had talent, but never got their big break. Now, with this $100 billion infusion and a reform-heavy national plan, that kid might finally be headlining. The Philippine Development Plan, 2023 to 2028, is designed to turn the country from a service-based economy into a production powerhouse. It's not just about outsourcing anymore. It's about ownership, of energy, of infrastructure, of destiny. And both Japan and the US are betting billions that this time, the Philippines will actually pull it off. But underneath all the contracts and construction sites, something much bigger is brewing. Something that's not just economic, but strategic. Because every dollar invested here isn't just shaping skylines. It's redrawing alliances. See, here's the thing about $100 billion. It doesn't just build bridges and factories. It builds alliances. And in this case, it's building something much bigger. A Pacific Defense Triangle. The US, Japan, and the Philippines. All locked in a quiet choreography that says, "We see you, Beijing." While China's busy building artificial islands, this trio is building influence. Every new port, power plant, and semiconductor lab doubles as both economic progress and a strategic outpost. It's soft power with steel beams. And here's where the plot thickens. Because for years, China had the monopoly on big spending in Asia. Belt and Road this, Silk Road that. Ports, highways, digital infrastructure, all stamped Made in Beijing. But lately, that checkbook's running thin. Growth is slowing, investors are jittery, and countries are realizing those shiny BRI loans come with invisible handcuffs. Meanwhile, the Philippines' economy is outpacing expectations, projected to grow around 6% next year, one of the fastest in Southeast Asia. Translation: the underdog's not under anymore. Manila's stock is rising, and Washington and Tokyo are first in line to buy shares. Japan's been laying foundations. The US is wiring up the future, and the Philippines, it's learning to play both sides like a pro, turning geography into leverage, influence into independence. Because let's be real, being stuck between two superpowers is only scary if you don't know how to turn it into an advantage, and that's exactly what's happening. The Philippines is no longer the side character of Asia's story. It's the plot twist. A nation that's been underestimated for decades is now becoming the bridge between East and West, between old alliances and new ambitions. But let's zoom out. Because this isn't just about the Philippines cashing in. It's about redefining the global game. The US is trying to rebuild its manufacturing web through something called friendshoring. Basically, moving factories out of China and into countries it actually trusts. And Japan. It wants stability in its backyard. A strong, modernized Philippines means safer trade routes, cheaper logistics, and a buffer against any maritime mischief in the South China Sea. This is no longer just economics. This is geopolitics with a balance sheet. And while we're on the topic of power, let's talk numbers. Analysts are projecting that the Philippines could hit a $1 trillion economy by 2033. That's not a typo. That's trajectory. At this rate, by 2050, the country could be one of the world's top 20 economies, ahead of Italy, Brazil, and even Russia. Not bad for a nation that once got called the sleeping tiger. Well, guess what? The tiger's awake, and it's hungry. And here's what makes it poetic. This growth isn't just economic, it's generational. Every new bridge built is a job created. Every data center lit up is a career launched. Every mega project turns brain drain into brain gain. For once, Filipinos might not have to leave home to find a future. The future's coming to them. Because this $100 billion influx isn't dependency, it's leverage. It's the moment a country goes from being helped to being needed. Washington and Tokyo aren't doing this out of charity. They're doing it because the Philippines has become too important to ignore. Economically, strategically, even symbolically. And here's the part. Nobody says out loud, this deal is about sovereignty. Not the kind you print on passports. The kind you build with pipelines, data cables, and power grids. The kind that says, we control our own future. So when you zoom out, the US and Japan's $100 billion isn't just an investment. It's a message to the world. A message that says, the Indo-Pacific's next big player isn't rising quietly anymore. It's building, drilling, and digitizing its way into the global stage. The Philippines is no longer waiting for opportunity to arrive. It's building it, one mega project, one investment, one bold move at a time. And that's the new reality. In the Pacific power game, the Philippines isn't the pawn anymore. It's the square everyone's trying to stand on. So yeah, the US and Japan just wired $100 billion. But what they're really funding is a comeback story. If you're still watching, hit that like button like it's a global trade deal and drop your thoughts below. Because the next decade isn't just about watching Asia rise. It's about deciding where you stand when it does.